Hey you guys, it's Mimi with my co-host JB. You know, I literally been sitting here. I'm sorry, this is a random thought, literally out the blue. I've been sitting here thinking, like, why do I call you my co-host when this is literally like our podcast?
Well, because you're the main talker.
Okay, so this was so bothering me. It literally just hit me. Anyways, this is our big number 50. Yay! We made it to 50 fucking episodes, dude.
I know.
Like 50 episodes. Who the fuck would have thought?
I'm so glad.
So I'm gonna go ahead and just jump into the story. This one, it could be like a paranormal type thing. Um, from what I've read on it, it is paranormal, but it's also
like a crime story
that
with-
turns into
into a
paranormal. Yeah, like literally almost all of our stories. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and apologize. As always, I cannot pronounce words for a motherfucking thing. This one actually takes place in Hong Kong. So I'm literally gonna get the names wrong. Um like how would you pronounce this word, this one right here?
Simsha.
Simsha.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. So it's TSIMSHATSUI in Hong Kong. So apologies for the Okay, so I gave the spelling. This one, it takes place in Hong Kong in 1975. A little girl named Fan Man-yee was born. As a little child, Fan Man-yee was abandoned by her father and was sent to live in an all-girls home until she was about 18 years old. I literally have no information. I could not find any information on her mom or dad, or literally like her family period. So I'm gonna assume like something happened to mom chose not to be around, whatever the situation was. Dad tried to step up, he raised her for a little bit and was finally like, like, I just can't do this. He washed his hands, he gave her away, unfortunately, for her to grow up into a home. um by the time that Fan Man-yee was 18, she had already developed a drug addiction and would turn to sex work to be able to afford her pay, or to be able to pay for the drugs. I had to reword a lot of this shit because a lot of the words that they use is just like they use prostitute and shit like that. I'm pretty sure I said this before, but I am just not a fan of that type of word. But by the time that Fan Man-yee was 23 years old, she was married, and she was married to an abusive, meth-headed husband, and she ended up having a baby. Fan Man-yee tried hard to stay clean because of her son, but it was hard because of her husband who did it in front of her. And eventually, after a while of the beatings and trying to prevent the drug usage, especially in front of her son, she left. At the age of 23, Fan Man-yee was on her own as a single mother. Locke. Um, anyway, so she becomes his hostess on a regular, as him and his friends would come to the bar. And at one point, they started talking about, just like life in general. Fan Man-yee started telling him that she had an addiction, and Chan Man-yee basically let her know that he was a dealer and he could hook her up at any time that she wanted to hit. So let me tell you a little about Chan Man. Why do I keep calling him Chan Man-yee? Okay, so my apologies. His name is Chan Man Lok. ChanManLok. But I guess because I've been working on this story for like
a really long time.
Yes, I get the names mixed up, so I keep calling him Yee, and it's not Yee. I don't even know if that's how you say Yee. Yee.
Let's see.
Yee?
Yeah.
There again. My apologies for
Yeah, it
getting
could
the
be.
names messed up. But so if I keep saying Yee, it's literally my writing down. So my apologies. So anyways, he's a 34-year-old that lives in a 5-bedroom apartment. For me personally, a 5-bedroom apartment is literally not an apartment. That's literally like a fucking house. But for me personally, um, and the way that the apartments were set up, like, because this is the middle of Hong Kong, so the 5 apartments that were in this building was literally sitting on top of a shopping mall. So you had the shopping mall underneath it.
Oh, so that is a big apartment.
Yeah, and then you go through the elevator and you have like certain floors, and each floor is like basically like a apartment, a condo, or whatever you want to call it. He was also a part of the Yakuza. When I googled, I could be pronouncing that wrong, which I know I'm literally 100% sure I'm pronouncing it wrong. It's basically like a mafia.
Okay.
So he was part of the mafia. He was also a drug dealer and a pimp. He also had 2 friends, which I will try to refer them as friends and not dude boys, but basically what he said they got up and did. I personally do not consider that as being part of the mafia. I consider you as just being a dude boy, but I do not want to because everybody in this story is still living. So certain people are still living, so I do not want to disrespect anybody by calling them dude boys.
Right.
But that's basically to me what they are. He had 2 friends who were basically there with him all the time. One was 27 years old and one was 21 years old. Both of their names were Leung. Leung, I'm not really sure. It's Leung. Um, Last name Sing. The other Sing Chu, and the other one was Man Locks. I'm not really sure. Can't pronounce it. Sorry. Anyways, those were his little 2 sidekick people. Immediately there was a connection when Fan Man-yee started talking to Chan Man Lock. There was a connection immediately because, like I said, he was a pimp, he was a dealer, she was a sex worker, she was a drug addict, so there was a connection literally immediately. Basically, for her to be able to get her hits, she would actually sleep with people to be able to get her money. Like he became her pimp basically. And it kind of just happened to come out for win-win on their ends, unfortunately. So in 1997, they made a connection permanently where she would hang out with Chan Manlock and his 2 friends on a regular. One day, Fan Man-yee was desperate and extremely, like, she really wanted to get high, so she decided that she was going to steal Chan Manlock's wallet.
Oh no.
At this point, I guess maybe she went and doing enough sex work, maybe she got too comfortable, whatever the situation was, but she felt she just had to steal his wallet. Fan Man-yee decided that she was going to, like I said, she was going to steal his wallet. Shortly after taking his wallet, Fan Man-yee knew that she immediately had fucked up. So immediately she said, okay, so I stole $4,000, which I did Google this, but I didn't write it down. So $4,000 in Hong Kong is literally only like a few $100s for us. Like it's not much, but I was like anybody, you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Still any kind of type of money. $20, like bitch. But I mean, in reality, it really wasn't that much, but it was. But anyway, she stole $4,000 from him. So in her mind, she said, okay, so I fucked up, I stole the money. The only way that I can make it out to him as him being, a pimp, a drug dealer, mafia war, everything else,
get the money back.
get the money back with interest.
Right.
So she said that she was going to add an additional 10,000 on top of it. So altogether, he would have got the 14. He would have got 14,000.
Right.
She didn't spend any of his money. As soon as she sold the wallet, she knew like immediately like I fucked up.
Yeah, I
So
shouldn't have done this.
yeah, so she didn't spend any of the money. So she was going to give him the 4,000 back, including another 10,000 for interest fee for stealing the shit. Fan Man-yee was brought back to Chan Man Locks, or she brought back his wallet and told him that she had took it, and she knew immediately that she had fucked up, and she would make an additional $10 for him.
10,000.
10,000. I'm sorry. He told Fan Man-yee that that wasn't good enough. He wanted an additional now. Different resources that I read, different things that I listened to, shit like that. It was between 16,000 and 26,000.
Ooh, but either way, that's so.
Yeah, he wanted an interest of a good fucking
So
amount
was
back.
this
Or
on-
I'm sorry, 16,000 to 21,000.
Was this on top of the 10,000?
Mm-hmm. Including because she already had the 14,000 when she brought back the wallet. She already had the 14,000 in hand.
Oh,
And she was like, listen, I fucked up, but instead of just giving you the 4,000 back, I went out, I did what I had to do. I got the other 10,000, so now I'm giving you $14,000 to make it, even. And he was like, yeah, that's not good enough. You're gonna go out there and you're gonna work for more, and you're gonna give me what I want, either between $16,000 to $21,000. What? So. Oh, and he also told her that she had a certain amount of time. I could not really figure out if it was like weeks, months, hours. I couldn't figure that out. But he only gave her a certain amount of time to be able to come up with that certain amount of money. Fan Man-yee she didn't get to deliver on the time that he told her to deliver. So he decided that he was going to have his two friends go pick her up. And as soon as she got back to Chan Man Locke's house, she literally was begging for more time. She told him, like, please, just give me more time, blah, blah, blah. So he told her, he's like, well, which is really weird. He was like, well, why don't we all just sit down, get high, and just think and talk about this whole situation? They all agreed. They sat down, they started smoking meth to try to figure this shit out, right? So Fan Man-yee and Chan Man Locke and his two friends, and also I keep seeing Chan Man-yee, it's not him. Chan Man Locke's girlfriend. At this point, she was only 14 years old, so it does not give her name. Yes, he is 34 years old, and she's 14. His girlfriend.
My God.
From what I read on her, she didn't really have a bad life at home, but she chose a certain lifestyle, and he was there to give it to her.
Okay.
Not a lifestyle that any 14-year-old should be living, but because they really don't give her name, I really don't know why, but Sally just kept popping up in my head, so Sally is going to be this girl's name.
Alright.
Okay, so Chan Man Locke had pimped out. This is where like part of the Hello Kitty thing comes in. Chan Man Locke had pimped out young girls, usually between the ages of 12 to 14 years old, mostly 13 and 14 years old. These are also girls who he didn't literally go out and snatch them off the streets and be like, you're gonna work for me and shit like that. He looked for runaways and people who were looking for a way out, drug addicts and shit like that.
He knew he could like manipulate it and do what he needed to because they had a need for like drugs.
They needed a place to stay. They needed money. They needed safety. Yep.
Okay.
And he was the one to give it to him. So, but when he would pimp out these 13 to 14-year-old girls,
that's just horrible.
He would literally try to go out his way to try to make these girls feel as comfortable as possible, right?
Well, at least it's something.
Well, he pimped them outside of his own personal 5-bedroom apartment. Sorry, I can't say house, apartment. And he literally had every single thing that you can think of. Curtains, spoons, forks, knives, toasters, bed sheets. Everything was literally Hello Kitty. Because why? Hello Kitty's big, and
Yes.
on that side, like Hong Kong, China, I'm pretty sure that's in China, Japan. Like that side, they're like really big into Hello fucking Kitty. It's cool because like me, like as a Hello Kitty lover, I would love to have like all those fucking decorations, but knowing how he used it, it's disgusting. Like, so basically, he just literally pimped out his whole fucking house just for Hello Kitty to make these 12 to 14-year-old girls feel more comfortable. On top of it, he would either show porn or he would have video games. Like, you didn't have cable. You didn't get to watch the news. You didn't get to watch fucking Nickelodeon, Disney. You didn't get to watch MTV or BET or nothing like that. It was literally porn or video games. Like, that's your choice of TV. Fuck that. So they had her over too. She was smoking meth with them. A lot of things that I read was like, why was, like, if he was a pimp, why did he specifically choose out Sally? Um, it could have just been because she was considered as what you call new meat. Maybe she was fresh on the market. Maybe she was more.
Something about her.
Yeah, maybe she was more, willing to do what he wanted. Maybe she was just, in his eyes, prettier. Maybe, whatever.
Yeah.
He favored her compared to the other girls, so she was more around for the situations that's fixing to fucking happen. But they were smoking meth, and
so all these kids smoke meth too.
yeah, all the girls that he were pimping out, they were all drug addicts.
That's so sad.
I don't know if it was necessarily meth, but they were drug addicts enough to where they were allowing him to be able to pimp them out.
Yeah, they had something.
Yeah, to be able to fix some kind of addiction or something. So why they were all five of them were smoking meth. They all decided that they would come, or I'm sorry, four of them decided, which is Chan Man Lok, Fan Man-yee, and Chan Man Lok's two friends. They all decided that they was going to come to an agreement, and Fan Man could have more time. So of course she's fucking excited, like, yay, they give me a little bit more time. Halfway through smoking, Fan Man-lok decided to change his mind. He told Fan Man-yee that they would just literally beat the shit out of her and call it even. At this point, Fan Man-yee basically agreed to disagree, but she kind of had no choice. Like,
she'd rather just take the beating than come up, because she can't come up with the.
Yeah, like you're sex working to try to come up with $21,000 in a certain amount of time.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Type.
So she figured, okay, if they just beat the shit out of me, wash our hands, we'll be good. So that's what she decided to do. But at this point too, she kind of knew like she had no option, not even to say no, because he's part of the mafia. Like there is no saying no to that. Now this is where it really starts getting bad. So for the next 30 days, they beat, raped, and burned her with plastic. They would literally take things like straws. They would let the plastic melt onto her skin.
Oh my god.
Now this I'm gonna try to say it without gagging. They would, when the plastic would melt onto her skin, they would let it harden, and when it would harden, they would literally scrape it off. When the wounds would be open, they would take chili oil, like I guess there's an oil instead of just like the powder. They would take the oil and put it inside of the wounds.
That is not that's torture. They said they were gonna like
beat her. Yeah, no, that's a whole nother level. They also put it in her eyes.
Oh.
Sally, the 14-year-old girlfriend. She wasn't there for everything that happened, but because at this point she still lived at home with her mom and dad, but she was kind of like in and out.
Right.
So she would still go to the boyfriend's house. So she didn't see everything, but she's seen enough to know what the fuck was going on. We will also get into that in a few. So Chairman Locke and his friends decided that they would break her Fan Man-yee's fingers. They tied her hands with electrical wire and hung her from the ceiling, basically where her toes were barely touching the floor.
Oh my god.
And this is where they decided that they were gonna beat her with random household things.
That's really.
So at one point, they actually decided to unscrew the table legs off of the tables. Like they literally, legit went out their way to get like a screwdriver or a drill, unscrew the fucking legs off the tables, beat her with it, and then turn around and screw the shit back on.
Oh my god.
Okay, who the fuck even has the time and energy to even do that? I stress the fuck out even putting the bitch fucking together.
That
You
poor,
think I'm gonna take the time to undo it?
that poor lady.
Oh, it's so sad. Like,
Yeah, it's really sad
it's disgusting.
what she had to endure and stuff. But it's just heartbreaking.
Um, Chairman Locke would have Sally, his 14-year-old girlfriend, pee and poop into things, and they would literally force feed Fan Man-yee
Oh
the
my
poop
god,
and pee.
that's disgusting.
They also made her drink motor oil. Chairman Locke made Sally hit Fan Man-yee multiple times. Um, in between the beatings, they would just play video games like it was normal and lived a normal lifestyle. Like,
And just like the
it
thing
is what
is,
it is.
but the thing is like yeah, she stole, but like, did she deserve like all of that? I mean, you could have like that was already like a lesson taught. Why continue?
And this isn't just some random fucking person. This is somebody you knew. Like, you were hanging out with her on a regular basis.
It's like
Like, they hung out for years. Like, 2, 3 years before, maybe longer than that, before
yeah,
he did. Do not do drugs, okay? Because
yeah.
meth literally makes you turn fucking crazy, apparently.
I don't. Yeah, I guess I just don't understand where it's like okay, you want to teach her a lesson for like stealing, but like that's just
Okay,
overboard.
do what regular people do. I mean, okay, I don't condone this, but I'm just saying, like, break the fingers, do some bull petty shit like that. I mean, that's not petty and bullshit, but still, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, that because what they did was just
to the
yeah.
extreme. So, like I said, in between the beatings, they played video games and they lived a normal life, like nothing even happened. They went This went on until one morning Sally actually spent the night over there. She woke up and she seen that Fan Man-yee was not breathing or was not moving. So she walked over and she noticed that, because like I'm assuming she touched her, she noticed that she was extremely cold and she wasn't breathing. So she went and told the three guys, Chan Man Locke and his two friends, um, that what was going on, that she wasn't breathing or nothing like that. So they told her not to worry, that Fan Man-yee had overdosed on hit of a big hit of meth, because apparently Chan Man Log told her not to take the hits that she was taking, but she decided to take them anyways, and she ended up overdosing.
But that
Um,
seems like far fetched from all the shit that has happened to her.
that the OD, she would have been better off ODing. Like,
Well,
what they're
I
the
guess
ones that literally beat her.
yeah.
The fuck
Well, I
that.
can't say it's far fetched because they could have actually gave her meth and had her OD, but
Honestly, you think the most, like, if you honestly, in my opinion, if that's the way you're gonna do it, it would be more humane to give her meth and then do it that way, because at least she would be high out of her mind and she wouldn't feel it. But I'm assuming they allowed her to get high within the process of a lot of this shit. then again, they're literally, this
Wait,
went on
did
for
she
over
actually
a month.
get high, or are they saying she got high? Or is
From what
there...
I read, it just said that they all got high.
Okay.
But in the 30 days of this going on, it never mentions her getting high.
Okay, it's probably maybe it's probably like one of those things like they just said, oh yeah, she was getting high, and then in reality, like they know, like they killed her.
Yeah. Well, these are 30, mid
Like
30-year-old men, so they're gonna tell this 14-year-old kid anything and everything to make her believe.
Yeah.
And the 14-year-old kid, she's already got drug problems anyways. Like, she's not mentally there anyways because she's already addicted to fucking meth and shit like that at the age of 14.
That's sad.
What? They also made her drink motor oil.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's,
They
right
made
there.
That's disgusting. Period. Like, you know that's gonna kill somebody. So
Yeah.
come on now. They made the 14-year-old, aka Sally, hit her. In between the video games, or in between the beatings, they play video games, and they basically live normal lifestyles.
And she was probably still just hanging there.
Mm-hmm. It didn't really go into details, but from what I read on and listened to and everything else, yeah, she basically was just there the whole time. The 14-year-old Sally noticed that she wasn't moving. She went over there. She checked her. She was cold. She wasn't breathing. They told her, oh, she OD'd. They told Sally, the 14-year-old, basically, like, it wasn't your fault. It wasn't our fault. She just took a big hit of the shit when we told her not to. She did it anyways, and look what happened. That was basically their story that they were sticking with. They sent Sally on her way, basically, like, just, it is what it is. They left Fan Man-yee's body laying on the floor. I'm assuming laying on the floor for a few days. At one point, the apartment below Chairman Locke's was raided by police because they were investigating a rape. And this actually scared Chairman Locke and his two friends enough where they sat uneasy and they decided that it was time to do something with Fan Man's body. The only way that they thought they could dispose of her body without being caught, they decided they were going to chop her up in the bathtub. I read 2 or 3 things that said that they actually used a chainsaw, but I'm not really sure about that. But I did read on multiple, and I heard multiple things that said it took them over 10 hours to chop her body up.
Wow.
After finally getting her cut into pieces, they decided that they still couldn't take any chances of anyone being able to catch them by getting rid of her body parts, so they chose to cook her body up to dissolve it.
To cook her body?
Yeah.
Oh,
They boiled her body. It took them days to be able to cook, aka boil her body up. While cooking her body, they chose to keep her heart, liver, lungs, and intestines. A lot of the comments that I read said that they were how do you
speculating?
there you go. That they saved these parts for like the black market.
That's what I was wondering because you can they get the organs and stuff on there.
Yeah.
Right.
And then two, I'm not gonna call out these podcasts that I was listening to this story on, but two of the podcasts that I was listening to made the comment that that's you can't do that because nobody is going to do. Say you steal a heart or kill somebody and you take the heart and you put it on the black market. Nobody is literally going to buy that heart off of you to do surgery on somebody in a public place. But the thing is, that's America. you don't know what is going on in
But like,
other countries.
there's surgeries that happen. You know,
Look at the people in fucking Miami who was putting semen and everything else because they're for injections
yeah.
because they're under the table. Come
But
on
you know
now.
that happens in different places. But my thing is, this is one. It's like her organ, like some of her stuff could not have been well considering
The
drugs.
drugs. Exactly. So there's not really too much saying like yes they did do certain things with it or nothing else.
Yeah, I could see why that could be speculated.
Because they never actually found it. Now in certain parts of the rest of the story, you will see that you'll see where certain things come from. But my thing is like the heart, the liver, the lungs, the intestines, things like that. Like those can be boiled down easily into nothing because it's not really nothing. It's not bones, so it would be easy to get rid of. So how would you know that they kept it? Or that they got rid of it because there's only certain things that's admitted into it, so how would you know?
Someone must have said something to them for that information to get out.
Exactly. But this one was so hard to get. I guess maybe because I can't really read like Hong Kong's language or whatever, so I think there would be more details if I read into that thing. But yeah, I know nothing about that. I can't even speak English, and that's my only language. Like, come on. So they say that yeah, it was put on black market. Um, they also couldn't. They also couldn't boil the skull down, so they took out the teeth and threw them away, so that way that there was no evidence.
Yeah, they can identify it.
They boiled the skull down so that way there was no smell, there was no evidence, there was no meat, nothing like that. And the two friends actually decided to take home some of the teeth as trophies.
What? Oh my goodness.
Yeah. They would be in the apartment for days, literally cooking her body up. Like they would not leave that apartment for days at a time because they were in there just cooking that shit up. Around dinner time, lunch, and breakfast, they would cook right next to the pot that was boiling Fan Man-yee's body.
So did she not have any? She must have not had any family that would, wonder why.
I'm gonna say no because when she was younger,
yes,
she got put in a home until she was 18. When she was 18, it's basically like the home was like, listen, your age.
That's right. There
you gotta go.
Okay, yeah, I forgot about that. So that makes sense.
Yeah. And I couldn't find anything on her childhood except for just that. Not just from what I heard, but literally what I looked into. There was nothing on her childhood, like at all, except for that she was in a home. But you would think, maybe mom's side of the family, even though mom could have probably like passed away and mom probably gave up, whatever. Like mom didn't have no family.
Well, they probably didn't, if she went into the system, it just kind of fell through the cracks.
That's true. So when they were stuck in the apartment for days at a time, they would literally cook their dinner, lunch, and breakfast right next to the pot that was literally cooking up her body. They would even stir their food with the same spoon that they were stirring her body with.
That's gross.
Disgusting. They finally got the whole body cooked up or cooked down. And the only thing that they had left and couldn't cook down was the actual skull of the head. Like it wasn't just the head, it was the skull. So they peeled and skinned the rest of the stuff off of her skull. I'm gonna throw up. Every time I even think about it or read it or anything, it makes me sick to my stomach. And at this point they did as much as they could to basically deal with the head. And they were still at like, what the fuck were we supposed to do? So then that's when they started looking around and they decided of sewing Fan Man-yee's skull inside a head of a Hello Kitty stuffed animal doll that was a mermaid. And Chan Man Lok made Sally take it home, the 14-year-old girlfriend. They decided to take Fan Man-yee's fucking head, sew it in a stuffed animal, and look at the 14-year-old girlfriend and said, taking
Did,
this home.
and she knew like the head was in there?
Yes.
Oh my
Um, Not long after Sally had took the Hello Kitty mermaid home, she started seeing Fan Man-yee in her dreams. As Sally would, the 14-year-old girlfriend, as she would walk anywhere during Hong Kong, especially on a certain street where they lived on, all she seen was Fan Man-yee's face. And I believe it was 1997. It could have been 1999. I'm not really 100% sure on that. Sally went into the police station telling them that the doll was haunting her, and all she seen was the woman's face. Police looked at Sally like she was absolutely crazy and told her that she had to leave several times, but Sally insisted and refused to leave. So finally, the police decided, okay, maybe this 14-year-old girl is having a hard life at home. Maybe she's being some kind of abused. Maybe something's going on. So we'll just go home, check out the home, see what's going on. So they get there. The police look around and they kept noticing, the Hello Kitty doll. Like it just seemed out of place to them. So Sally told them that that she told him that she finally had to tell someone or Fan Man-yee would just keep haunting her and she wouldn't be able to get her out of her dreams or her head and she would always see her day or night. Finally, police looked at the Hello Kitty closer and they noticed that, and that's when when like they put their focus on the doll, I'm sorry. That's when Sally told the police every fucking detail that she remembered throughout them 30 days. Of course, Chairman Locke and his two friends were arrested and then began the trial. Sally was given immunity if she testified against the three guys. Sally told the jury and the judge every detail that she remembered. The one that stuck out to her the most was seeing Chan Man Lok kick Fan Man-yee in the head like a soccer ball.
Oh,
Over 50 times in a row. Who does that? A
that's
soccer ball. That's like a kickball, bro. You're 50 times in a row. That means you're literally just sitting there back to back. Boom, boom,
a
boom.
lot of energy to do.
How the fuck did this girl not die from that immediately? I would have been dead.
She was old.
This is why I'm wondering if maybe they were getting her high in the process. Because ain't no strength like a crackhead strength. So if they're sitting there abusing her and she's taking this shit, who's to say that she's not getting high in the process just to keep her alive? She can't feel real. I mean, well, I don't know because I've never been on no shit like that, but I'm assuming, crackhead strength, they feel no pain. So I'm assuming like they feel pain days later, but you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's confused. How does she not die from that immediately?
I have no idea.
Because, I mean, we've all seen a type of soccer game, and you see how they kick the ball, whatever.
Yeah.
What, 50 times in a row? Bitch, third time you hit me, I'm dead. My whole fucking neck's probably cracked in half, and I'm just thinking there, like, this girl is the fucking champ, man. Chairman Locke and his two friends were never charged with murder. Why? They were only charged with manslaughter because even though they had Sally's confession, they had teeth inside the friends' homes that they kept for souvenirs, and even though they had Fan Man-yee's skull, they could not determine the cause of death. Now, my thing is, they kicked her in the head over 50 times in a row as a soccer ball. what's her name? Gabby. What's the girl that just passed away?
Oh,
I can't pronounce her last name. Petito
yeah.
or whatever her last name is. I'm so sorry that I pronounced that wrong. That case, and I hate to use her case as an example, but that case, it literally told me and showed me that examinators, is that how you say it? People who do examinations on the body, they can look at the bones and tell if there was any blunt force, whatever, instead of like looking at the body,
Yeah.
like where you can literally tell like, oh, the head got cracked open, like because the skull,
Yeah.
they can look at the bones and tell, even if the damage didn't go all the way, they can look at the bones and tell like shit happened.
Yeah.
So if she was kicked 50 times in the head, how did that not show up?
Yeah.
Like a soccer ball. Like
Yeah,
soccer
because her
balls are
skull had
going
it. Her skull had to be cracked.
some way, somehow, right?
Yeah. Wait, we gotta take a break.
Okay, so my personal opinion is that maybe they didn't get charged with actual murder because maybe Fan Man-yee was high rank of mafia, or from
Interesting theory.
all the comments that I read was that because he basically boiled the body up to the extreme, they had no evidence against him. Because they never caught anything inside Chan Man Locks. I keep calling him Chan Man-yee. I'm sorry. They never caught anything in Chan Man Locks' possession.
Oh, those are some interesting theories.
But he's high enough into the mafia to the point where he has basically two dude boys. He says, go do, and they go out in there and they do it. Bring this person back. They go out there and they bring this person back. He's up there high enough to have that privilege. So they received life in prison with the possibility of parole. From what I read, that Chan Man Lock was actually released in 2020,
Oh,
but I could not find any updated information on him of where he's staying, if he's registered at anything, is it like nothing. I like he literally does not exist from what I could find.
did you find out if the other two, if they got paroled already?
I'm gonna go with a no, but there again, I honestly do not know because I really don't even know their names.
Okay. Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Because both of their names starts with the L
Right.
long Elion. I don't even know how you pronounce it, but it starts with that, and I think it's just a weird coincidence that both of them have the same name. There's only a little slight difference to it. I cannot find anything on it. I really don't know what is going on with them. I only thing that I found that was recent was that Chan Man Lock was released.
Okay.
So in 2012, the whole building, the stores included, was tore down, and they said that it was because of the whole building itself was extremely haunted. They will not go into details to say what made it haunted or anything like that.
But you could assume it's probably
Hell yeah, they
because of
literally
that.
tortured and killed that girl in there. In 2016, they built a new hotel. The picture that I found, which I'll have to find it again before I post it on Instagram. I don't know if it's the old hotel or the new one because when I hit Google Maps, what it shows now is kind of like just a regular building. But the pictures that I found before was like absolutely beautiful. But it's still the same, like a store thing on the bottom, but it's just higher, more than what would you say, like 6 stories.
Okay.
It's really high. So, but they replaced it with a hotel. And literally to this day, people say that you can see a young woman roaming into the halls. There is security cameras all up and down the street, inside the building, and everything that says that you can see a young woman on the cameras, but then she just randomly disappears.
Ooh, creepy.
And my thing about it was that she didn't even haunt just the apartment building hotel thing. She went for the whole fucking street.
Damn.
So she haunted the whole street. And my favorite thing about it though is like, is this actually like a haunting? Is people just having like a weird, like, oh my god, did I see that type feeling? You know what I'm saying? Or was it just this 14-year-old having a guilty conscience? The thing that irritates me though about this story is, okay, this could just be me being my own personal bitchy type way. Everybody is like over here, like, oh, she's 14. That's my thing. She's 14. She's not 7. She's not 8. She's not 4. At the age of 14, you know right from wrong. You know kicking somebody in the head as hard as that's
The only
going.
thing is I can think of is she could have been like scared because if they could do that to her,
she's a drug
they could have
addict.
done it to her. You know,
Yeah,
he could have done that
probably
to
picked
herself.
her out.
So, but you never know. Like maybe he always had this thing like because she did live with her family at one point that maybe it's like, oh, if you turn on me, well, I'm gonna go after your family.
Yeah.
At least I'm hoping there was some reason where it took her for so long to say anything. But I mean, I guess luckily as she's eventually said something.
I think it
else,
was personally the haunting. I don't think it was a guilty conscience. I think it was a haunting. Like, Fan Man-yee was literally like, I'm coming at you because you participated in this.
You saw what, like I was brutally attacked forever, and you sat by and participated.
Yeah, you didn't even try to help or nothing.
But like, yeah, she participated, and my thing is like how they played video games
in the process. How do you even cook the body up? Like, you can't tell me within those 30 days you like, because in the trial the aka Sally, she was a lot of the main witness to a lot of the shit, but she wasn't there the whole fucking time, you know. But you were there long enough. You still had a decent, loving home, but you chose to live this lifestyle. You weren't like where Fan Man-yee, she was literally given up, and she had nobody.
Yeah.
You still had family, and nowhere in your point of mind said this is wrong. Even if there are threats, you eventually got to the point where you were like, you know what, life or death, I'm still going to go to the police station because she's haunting me.
Yeah, it's too bad she wasn't able to do it sooner. Like,
I know.
She didn't, like...
I guess it just irritates me with this story because everybody's like, oh, she was 14. She was being, what do you call it? Like, where they make you into what they want you to be.
Oh, I can't think of the one I'm drawing.
Yeah, like that's how they made it seem. But I'm sorry, at 14 years old, you know right from wrong. You know that's wrong. And either way, I mean, a guilty conscience, it eventually got to you. Paranormal.
Sometimes fear does, like...
But my thing is, I believe it's paranormal because if this happened in 97, 99, and still in 2016, till this day, they're still in this hotel. They are still seeing her up and down the street and stuff like that.
Yeah,
she's pissed.
yeah.
And she is coming for revenge. Alright, so.
That was a crazy...
What?
That was crazy.
I've worked for like, what, 4 months on that shit. For it to be so small. writing it out and speaking it, like writing it out, it's like 8 pages long. Speaking it is like 5 minutes without comments on the situation. 4 months to fucking research it and get it all down. Oh, it drives me crazy.
Alright,
But I do it because I love it. These are our little crime stories, right?
A few New Year's superstitions. I have an update on our last story, and then I have a crime story, but that it's not really a crime story, but it's funny.
All right. New Year superstitions. They say that if your cupboards, which is like your cabinets,
Yeah.
are empty on New Year's, you will have a year of poverty.
Yeah.
Then I'm so glad I have food at least on every shelf. They're not literally stocked full, but we got food in there. Because I'm big on superstition type things. Opening all the doors and windows at midnight lets the old year escape.
Get out your bad shitty year.
I like that one. That one's cool though. In Spain and other Latin countries, eating 12 grapes on New Year's Eve is said to bring luck throughout the coming year. I'm gonna start trying that. We always need good luck, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this episode 49.
Yes, it was 49.
We have a update on Clause O. So in 2020, a young man in the coma had passed away, and he was in a coma for 4 years.
So remember one of the victim the three people that went to try that they were able to charge Klaus in the trial. Two of them had I believe it was like kidney damage, and one of them was in a coma. And this was the young man who was in the coma, but he eventually passed away in 2020.
Damn.
And I didn't come up when I was doing my research. That didn't come up, but came up from a different thing. I was like, oh, I was like, I gotta put this in there because I didn't have that he sadly passed away.
That sucks too, man. 4 fucking years. He fought though. His parents testified at Clause O's trial. Testified at Clause O's trial about how much suffering their son had endured.
So because
fucking 4 years.
because during the trial, their son was already in the coma from the result of him poisoning their lunch. Because Clauso was the one who would poison a couple people. I think it was like 18 years or something like that. But just enough to not get attention, but just
just enough to be able to kill people.
Like every year, yeah.
So December 2021, a man pretending to be Santa was arrested. Rudolph saw the Grinch lurking in a parking lot, so he called the cops. We got him. Christmas has been saved. The big green guy was held without bond until December 26th. So yeah. So alas, he is back on the streets and ready to terrorize more merrymakers next year. Aww. Boo.
They had to let him
go. We hope though his actions and his heart will grow 3 sizes. Is that what the comment said?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I love it.
And the thing is, it's like you see like Rudolph in the costume like posing with the cop, and you see like the Grinch in the car, like oh, he got caught.
Oh my god. I need pictures for this
yeah,
one.
it was cute.
That is cute.
I could write that up. I thought it was cute.
So this is our big 50, guys. Oh my god, big 50, yay. And not only that, how weird is it that our big 50 literally landed, well, when we're recording this, Not when it actually comes up, but while we're recording, might be. I don't know. You do all that. But January 1st, 2022. And it's our big 50.
Yeah.
That's
Although,
big.
it will come out like after.
Yeah, but still, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so really no new other updates. Just we got Facebook. I literally got almost every freaking episode except for our little crime stories. All the pictures
Yeah, I saw you've
updated.
been doing a good job.
Yeah, all of our pictures updated on Instagram. And besides that, if you have any special requests or anything like that, spooksandcrimespodcast@gmail.com. Go to any place that you can find our podcast and follow, like, give us 5 stars because that really helps us a lot wherever you can do it. And just keep supporting us, guys. We're getting there. We'll slowly get better. Bye.